time's a charm, I guess. I wanted to turn the music off to get this message out to whoever is listening, because it is a very important message that I have to say on this Sunday. And I was at the grocery store, like I love to do, grocery shop. And I've told you guys my first love is music. And then I also have this deep love for culinary arts. And I was outside of Whole Foods. It was raining. This happened within the past couple weeks, like about 2 weeks or less. And I was just really glad that this boo-boo on my knee healed. It was drizzling. And, I try to be aware of my surroundings. I don't do drugs, drink, smoke, or whatever. So I'm pretty able to be very alert about my surroundings. And I'm outside of Whole Foods. It's somewhat of a rainy day. I had my Calvin trench on. And this is what was somewhat bothersome to me, because I did not want this trench. I've had it for years, and quality. It doesn't, fade, or it doesn't. Quality is quality. So I'm out in the rain I'm speed walking. And right outside of Whole Foods, it was almost as if one of Joe Biden's goons or ghosts or goblins stuck out its foot, invisible of course, and tripped me just to get a laugh. It was bad. I fell down. I scraped my knee. I busted my hand. It was blood. But I had to get up and check to make sure that there was no blood on the Calvin and that there were no holes. And sure enough, Calvin lasted. Anyways, so I'm at Whole Foods, likely picking up some fruit and vegetables and these things, because these things are so amazing. You can use it as a meal replacement. They're delicious. I was in love with the maple sea salt until I stumbled upon the simple Splendor lemon. Lemon is awesome. And I'm shopping through the aisles, moseying around like I like to do. And certain things are a little bit more hard to come by. Pesto, for example. I really love pesto. Pesto is something that I've enjoyed for a long time, for ages, a good quality pesto. And unfortunately, most of the pestos have dairy in it, have cheese in it. Pesto consists of typically a cheese, pine nuts, basil, olive oil, garlic, sea salt. But there are various types of pestos. You can do a sun-dried tomato pesto. Anyways, love the stuff. I'm shopping for pesto. Can't find vegan pesto. None of it is dairy-free. So instead of that being a disappointment, it actually ended up being a source of gratitude. And these days I'm finding very simple little things to be extraordinarily grateful for. And then I immediately started reflecting on my creativity and how my creativity is lended to various categories of my life, including my culinary arts, and how delectable my food is. It's really good. So I said I can easily just make my own pesto, very easily. I can do a cashew cheese. I can do, garlic, basil, olive oil. I have sea salt here. I'll spice it up. It'll probably be even better than, the store-bought one. And I've made my own pesto before, and I was really pleased with the results of it. And I think that that's part of not being a wealthy person. You end up being very creative and very resourceful, and it ends up actually working in your favor, your resourcefulness and your creativity, because a lot of things that people with a lot of money can just buy, you end up making, and it ends up being better than the things that you just buy. In addition to you being full of love. So you always put your love in everything, love in your food and whatnot. And so I just started reflecting on my creator and how grateful I am, extraordinarily, exceptionally grateful. I can't put into words, grateful for my gifts and my talent and my creativity and my ideas and my, like, the talking points or whatever. And I started thinking about how, like, sometimes after meditation, like, all of these ideas will just come to me. Or I'll be like in the tub in water or like anything surrounding water, and just like these ideas just like come to me. Like I have like these spiritual downloads. Or like after prayer, like there'll be things like these things that like God just puts inside my mind that I just have to get out. I have to either like talk to you guys about it or write it down, you know, or like a song will come to mind and just be like, oh, God, thank you so much. Thank you for this inspiration, this motivation. Like, I literally feel like I'm getting, like, downloads, like, information downloaded to me. And I'm extraordinarily grateful for, like, all of these ideas and, like, all of these, like, things that come to mind for me. And I know that it's not coming from any source but the being that I worship and, like, invoke, you know, like, constantly give me brilliance and creativity and all of the things that I need, you know, infinite abundance. And I feel extraordinarily abundant, not by what's reflective in my bank account, because I wouldn't feel abundant if that was the case, but by everything that I have inside of me, like my cup runneth over when it comes to love. My cup runneth over when it comes to like what's in here, and my cup runneth over when it comes to like creativity and like all the ways that I'm able to delegate my creativity. I can't put it into words, like the magnitude of my gratitude for that and my exceptional thankfulness and appreciation, and I really can't put into words like how grateful I am for these things. And so, you know, I tried my best to live a life that's going to keep me as preserved as possible, because when you value something, you do want to preserve it. So you value your body, you want to preserve it. You value your mind, you want to preserve it. You value your heart, you want to preserve it. You value the things that you bring to the world, you want to preserve it. What does preservation look like? Well, it includes not putting a bunch of garbage in your mind from like media or like other people who want to like tarnish or taint all the gifts that you've been given, or make you feel like they're like not gifts, you know, or like people who feed off of you, you know, like all those things that you try your best to avoid. And when I do tap in, you know, I was watching Joy Reid the other day with the Nicki Minaj situation, and Joy Reid's response to that, in my opinion, was just, you know, I'm not going to dive too deep into my opinion about the whole thing, but I was watching her mannerisms, and I'm like, that's interesting. You know, I peep a lot of things sporadically because I really don't watch TV, and I really am not really tuned into popular culture. I listen to like classics, you know, music-wise or whatnot, but I'll hear things, and I'm like, that's interesting, like, that looks like choreography that I created. That sounds like some talking points that I already created. That's a joke that I came up with. That, you know, and it's reflective in like these like talking heads on MSNBC and CNN, and like comedians and everything. I see myself, even politicians, like some of the and I don't listen to politics like that, but even some of like the speeches, I'm like, yo, I thought of that. Like the talking points, I'm like, I thought of that. And people get paid big money to write speeches for politicians, 6 figures. Like, you're like stealing, you know? And I was pissed for some time, especially, you know, it's been me and my son. And I'm no victim, but the truth is, for a very long time, it was exclusively my income that was able to sustain him. if I didn't work, And so for people who have so much to be like stealing from a single mom, I just looked at it as very low, very low. And the audacity to say that you fight for the people, or the audacity to say that you fight for the everyday person, or you fight for mankind, you're like stealing from like someone who was barely scraping by to like provide for their child. Luckily, for the grace of God that was able to touch my mother's heart, that, my son is not only surviving based off of one income anymore, but for over a decade, that was the case. And so from a worldly level, I was looking at some of these people like, wow, like that's really foul. That's really messed up. But from a spiritual level, I had to look at it differently and to say, well, if they didn't resonate on a frequency of lack and of scarcity, if they had belief in themselves, that they could have the creativity, the talent, the brain power, the mind, the discipline, right? Because this didn't just come from nowhere. This came from disciplining myself to say, I'm not going to watch TV. I'm not going to consume this and that. I'm going to keep my mind pure, my body pure as a temple, and I'm going to meditate, right? But those people who do not want to discipline themselves, they want to drink, smoke, have sex with meaningless sex and all of those things, but they seek to take from you, who lives a very disciplined lifestyle, is a very disciplined regimen. These people resonate on a frequency of scarcity and lack and not having. That's why they have to take, because they don't have. But on a spiritual level, I said, you know what? Is it me, or is it the message? Like Lauryn Hill's song with Nas, it's like, if you block me and I'm the messenger, then you block the message. I thought that point was profound. That was a profound lyric. And beyond that, my Creator always provides, and provides like beyond words. And so whatever, with the understanding of karmic law and the law of reciprocity, that whatever you're putting out into the world is going to return back to you, how can you be mad when people are crumb snatching and pinching off of the crumbs? Shout out to Nazir Ra, because he inspires me greatly. A lot of the ideas and talking points that I have, I get from him. But I always give my credit and praise where praise is due. And it doesn't take anything from me to give credit to the masterminds and the real G's that I deeply appreciate and respect for their level of cultivation of their mind and their brain power. It's profound, and I have no issue applauding them and tipping my hat to them. But I say this to say that from a spiritual level, I have no doubt that like when we say like an overflow, because I give so much. I've give so much. So much. So it's only a matter of time, and it already has manifested. People get mad, like, how does this person have that? How is she able to move like this? How does she be? People get mad. You don't understand that these are the seeds that I planted when I was working as a waitress and working in the restaurant, and I would stop my shift and like make sure that a disabled person was able to like feel like totally taken care of, like an able-bodied individual. Because I spent a portion of my life as someone who was not able to walk. I spent a portion of my life as a disabled individual. That now I have a level of empathy to people who have disabilities. That in middle school, they wanted to test me for a learning disability. That school has always been a tremendous challenge for me because of attention deficit disorder. So now I empathize and have compassion with people with learning disabilities. That I spent so much of my life in poverty, that I have compassion and empathy for people in poverty, that I don't that I don't turn my nose up at poor people, that I fight for poor people. Because I've been through all of these things. And every single job that I lost, it was because I was fighting for not just me, but for the equality, but for equal pay of everybody. Every job that I lost, it was a problem with management. It was a problem with them stealing our tips, them stealing our wages, that I put myself on the line to fight for people. And it's not to be bragging and boasting. That's not really what God wants us to do, to be bragging and boasting about the ways that we contribute to the world. This is to make a point. To say that I have no doubt in my mind that every bit of beauty that I bring to the world is coming right back to me. Every person that I fought for that didn't have the words to fight for themselves. Every person that I advocated for that was able to get their money to feed their family. I'm talking single moms, waitresses that were getting literally taken advantage of and exploited by the company, that I put my foot down and said, no, we're not doing this. Putting food on children's tables because of my advocacy. That's the power that I have. So I don't have any resentment or animosity by people trying to take the crumbs. All I say is, if you're going to mimic me, don't mimic the fun side and the vain, side of me, which I have, as far as just my art and my creativity and being in flashiness. Mimic the advocacy for poor people. Mimic my godliness. Mimic my integrity. Mimic my honor. Mimic my discipline. Mimic my character. If you're going to steal from me, steal those things. Mimic my taqwa, my God consciousness. Mimic the fact that whenever you speak, your word is bond. That's how tight your integrity is. Mimic that. Copy that. And all praise is due to Allah. Allahu Akbar. All praise is due to the Most High. I'm not here up on some, egomaniac joyride. All this stuff is from God. You think that if I didn't resonate on a God frequency, that I would be not scared like you? Scared to talk? Of course I'd be scared if it wasn't for God riding with me. God gives me fearlessness. God gives me bravery. God gives me the words to talk. God gives me these spiritual downloads. God gives me everything. Power, willpower, discipline, everything I get from my Creator. That's where my source is from. So growing up in Connecticut, I talk about like how much it's such a great place to raise a child. And I played lacrosse. I played field hockey. I was on the dance team. I played a bunch of sports. I never played soccer. I was never a soccer bunny, but that was like the thing to do in my town. I was in the ski club. And wintertime is something that we don't dread. I hear people, especially like some people that I meet from other countries, like my people's culture, like West Africa or Africa period, even like East Africa, some of the Ethiopians and Eritreans. And then I hear people from like various like Latin, like tropical Latin countries. They're like, no, sweetheart, like we live in Cali because we don't do the cold, or we live in Florida because we don't really do the cold. And I get it, like having this relationship like with this cold weather, especially when you are organically a tropical person. But me, it's not just from the vain side of things, like the fly ass winter coats that I feel like are super just like, like especially you see a man in just like a fly, like a fly ass winter coat, just like, damn, where are you going? Dressed like that. Which I like. Which I really like. And in New York, or Connecticut, it's more preppy. New York, it's a little bit less preppy, more, fashionable. But you see the suede and the leather and the fur. And I'm a vegan now, so I can't really promote that stuff. But, it has a very aesthetic appeal to it. The winter gear is just fly. The tweed and the I love it. But my love for the winter And I get cold easily. It's not just because of the fly shit that you get to wear in the winter, but it's also like I have fun. You know, growing up, we skied and we snowboarded and we ice skated and we had snowball fights, made snow angels, and went sledding and like made a really good time out of the winter. And in the fall and the springtime, we were offered this thing called ropes course. And it was basically like you would climb up on a tall tree kind of thing, or like a huge tall ledge, and you would hang from this thing, but you would be strapped into a harness. So if you fell, you'd be fine. But it was zip wire, and you hung on to it, and then they pushed you off the ledge, and like you went through all these trees and whatnot. Like you just went like flying through all. It was so much fun. And then there was another activity with the ropes course where you hold on to your shoulders like this. And everybody who is part of the team, and I always advocate teamwork. Like I tell my son, please play sports. Like always play sports, because everybody's playing their position and playing it well and staying in their lane. You guys can be victorious, and it teaches you how to work with people and be harmonious and achieve a specific goal to win. And everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. So sports are very like necessary. You gain skills in life through sports. So everybody, when you're up on this ledge, you know, everybody's got their arms linked like this, and everybody that you're with is making like a big net with their hands, with their arms linked like this, and you stand like this, and you're up on a ledge, maybe 20 feet or whatever, 15 feet, and then you just fall back, and they catch you. And it teaches you to trust. And that's how I feel like with God. And when it comes to this topic of feeling like, yes, it's very obvious that people are taking from me. They're taking my ideas and things like that. But I have this blind faith and trust that I'll always be provided for, based off of my understanding of spiritual law, that whatever you put out into the universe, it comes back to you. And so I have this blind, just like absolute faith and trust in my Creator, that I don't worry, I don't stress, I'm fully taken care of. And the level of comfort in that and understanding that and knowing that is not describable. I can't even put it into words. And when you see people have to do very nefarious things, it's because they don't trust in God. That God is the source of infinite abundance and will always provide. They have to steal from people and take from people because they don't believe. And that's really unfortunate. So on a spiritual level, yeah, I'm good. And that's really the main level, like the only level that really counts. But on a worldly level, it's like, yeah, this shit is kind of annoying. And so I pray to be constantly on my spiritual side, to always have that greater understanding of life, and that I will always be protected and provided for and taken care of on the highest level. When speaking about the Shaytan, the Dajjal, the devil, some people say the devil doesn't really exist. There's no such thing. The devil's just, a fear tactic to make people obey. And there's no such thing as the devil. Some people believe that. Some people say they are the devil, that the devil consists of their lower nature, and that it's within all of us. And it's a matter of who will win that day. Will it be the God side of you, or will it be the devil? Like those cartoons where it's like the devil on one shoulder and God on another, or like an angel on another, and they're constantly talking to you. Like one is like, do it, do it, do it. And the other one's like, no, don't do it, don't do it. Da-da-da, you're better than that. Some people say, yeah, the devil is in all of us. And then I heard Nazir Ra made a really profound point, 2 points that I'll touch on. One, he said, he doesn't resonate on the white man as the devil, because if you really believe that you are the origin of creation and the devil came before man in theory, then who's the real devil? The original man would be the real devil. And then he made another point that I thought was so profound. He said that if angels are given free will, and I've heard Tahuti Ma'atara, and this is a discussion I would like to have because I'm ignorant to this. I don't know. I really don't know. But Tahuti Ma'atara said that Lucifer is not the devil. That the angel of light or the fallen angel is actually not the devil. And Nazir Ra was saying, well, if it's told in biblical, texts and other religious texts that the fallen angel Lucifer got into a rut, a frenzy based off of this new creation of man, and man was made from clay, and he was made from fire, and that he refused to bow to man because he said, I'm made of a superior material. I'm not bowing to clay. I'm better than they are. But and I've made this point before, how that is really one of the main attributes of the Shaytan, the ego and the arrogance. Like that's one of the main attributes of the devil, ego and arrogance, and thinking that they're better than people. And Satanists are the ones who worship the devil are very arrogant. They're very, very, very arrogant. Very, very, very arrogant. But that's one of the main attributes of the devil. So another, attribute of the devil is hatred. One of the main attributes of the devil is hatred. But beyond, we'll revisit that point. The question that Nazir Ra asked was, well, time out. If we've been told in religious texts that the devil has free will, that angels don't have free will, that's what distinguishes men from angels. The fact that we can choose to do right, we can choose to do wrong, we can choose to work within our higher nature, we can choose to work within our lower nature. We get to choose our life. We get to choose our life path. We have total free will. Like, you don't even have to believe in God. God made you and gave you the free will to choose to believe or not to believe. But it's told that angels don't have that angels just obey. And so how did this angel, who we're told just obey, how did this angel then turn around and say, I'm not going to obey? Where did this angel get free will from? And that's a question that I'm asking because I'm really ignorant to that. I don't know. But I think it's interesting. And so when we describe the devil, the idea of free will is like one of the pillars. Like even Aleister Crowley said, do as thou will, right? So what confuses me is when you have devil worshippers trying to impose their will on other people. Like that in itself is like against everything that you stand for. That confuses me a lot. And one thing I'll say is, having gone through some experiences as of recently, I've been able to become wiser in certain categories. And my main takeaway from some of these people that worship the devil was, okay, well, here's my confusion, right? Because the devil has certain attributes. Jealousy is an attribute. The original story, the original text, the devil was jealous of man. The devil was jealous. Like, time out. I thought I was like, this whole thing that we're going through was based off of like the devil looking at God. Like, I thought I was your right hand. I thought I was your ace boon coon. I led the choir. I was the most loyal being that you created. I would do anything for you. And then you come in and you create man. I'm going to prove to you that man's not worth shit. I'm going to do all types of things and put man through all types of hell to prove to you that I'm the only being worth your loyalty. It's bizarre because you think that the way that they try to play it is like the Shaytan against God. That's not the case. It's not the case. The Shaytan knows that God is superior. This is a matter of the Shaytan trying to prove a point to God that man is not worthy of God's favor. Which makes the Shaytan, the devil, a hater. Like, it's aside from, like, and I've said deceit is the main attribute, but I would say it's neck and neck. Hatred and deceit. Hatred is like the devil's like main attribute. Deceit also, the devil is a liar, but hatred is like a huge quality, a huge characteristic. Hatred and rage and just hatred and disdain for other people, coupled with arrogance, looking down on other people, looking down on poor people, looking down on people who don't have, looking down on people who lack, looking down on arrogance and hatred. And then jealousy. What is the jealousy predicated upon? Well, the devil doesn't need money. The devil just uses money and material things as a tool to lure you in. The devil doesn't need money. So it's not your money that the devil is jealous of. Like, when you hear like a lot of these like devil worshipers, like, why would I be jealous of a poor person? Get out of here. Yuck. Me? And I'm rich and I can buy whatever I want. Why would I be jealous of a poor person? Ugh. Well, the main whole thing of the being that you worship was jealous of God's favor upon mankind. God's anointing, God's blessing. Like these like divine spiritual downloads that we get, and like the joy that God brings us. So I say this to say that another attribute of the Shaytan is intelligence. Known to be the most clever, known to be very wise, known to be very intelligent, known to have gifts, because we're not going to, gifts or curses, you could say whatever, but special powers. The Shaytan has special powers. We're not going to deny that the Shaytan can do very majestic, magical things, undescribable things, gives people different powers. God has powers and the Shaytan has powers. God can give you clairvoyance and psychic abilities, and can give you extraordinary intuition, and can give you discernment, and the Shaytan can give you psychic powers and clear audio powers and astral projection. And God can give you astral projection, and the Shaytan can give you astral projection. There's powers. No one's denying that. To deny that would be a fallacy. But you do need to question and have a discerning eye of where somebody's getting their powers from. If they have powers, where their powers coming from. But I say this to say that one of the abilities and one of the attributes is extreme intelligence and foresight. But not coupled with integrity, not coupled with a love of mankind. So really using these gifts in dark ways. And when I analyzed some of the things that I was going through, I had to say, well, who thought of this whole strategy? Because if the devil is known to be very clever, very wise, very intelligent, very perceptive, in the book it says that the devil knows you even better than you know yourself sometimes. That's how much the devil studies you, scrutinizes you, puts a magnifying glass to you, knows you very, 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 very well, which is how the devil feels like that he has the upper hand in being able to set you up, because he knows you. He knows what your weaknesses are. He knows what your temptations are. He knows if you are stimulated and titillated by certain things. He knows what you are fascinated with. He knows what your tendencies are like. He knows if you have certain things that, could be seen as whatever, vain or ego or pride or whatever it is, and can use those things to then, fuck your life. or make you worship him. But either way, it's fucking your life because, excuse my French, but, when you go down that route, then you're in bondage. The devil loves nobody, not even the ones that serve him. His attribute is not love. God's attribute is love. His attribute is hate. So he hates even the beings that serve him. And they understand that it's not really a fun game once they join. I believe most of them would choose to do otherwise if they could do it all over again. Some of them are too far gone. They're too into it too deep. Many of them would trade everything that the devil's given them for just the peace of mind and not having to continue to keep up with the demands and the requests. It's endless. And because one of his main attributes is deceit, he'll give assignments and then more assignments. And you'll be like, why do I have to do more? Why do I have to do more of this? Because I'm a liar, dummy. I lied to you and I told you that was going to be it. But I'm a liar. I told you to lie. So yeah, it's more. It's more. It's more and it's endless. Now you are in endless and perpetual bondage. And it'll never stop until you die. And the same demons that you're trying to invoke on other people are the same demons that are haunting you. The same voices that you're trying to invoke on other people are the same voices that are haunting you. And you're like, this is not what I bargained for. And the same control and the same enslaving and the same that you're trying to invoke on other people is to a greater extent. You're enslaved and in bondage. And the devil's main attribute is not joy. No, make a joyful noise. That's for the believers over there. You don't get to be happy. You make your choice. You said, I would take the world over happiness. I would take material comfort over happiness. Predicated upon your pride. Predicated upon your jealousy, your arrogance, you always wanting to have one up, you not appearing to be a loser in life, you not appearing to be a bum in life, you appearing to have all of these things. He said, I don't care how miserable I am on the inside, as long as everybody thinks that life is good on the outside. You made that choice though, and that was your free will to do. And I'm not here to trash you for making that choice. Because that's your free will to do. Like, just like I'm not over here, like I cannot advocate free will for myself and be at the same time trying to impose on your free will. You have the freedom to decide what you prioritize and how you choose to see your life and how you choose to manage your life and what you do with your life and what you do with your time and what you see fit and all of this. You have that right. As a sovereign being, you have the right to put external validation over your own internal bliss, joy, happiness, freedom, self-worth. You have the right for people to see you as worthy, but you see yourself as unworthy. You have the right, and you have the right to make that bargain. I don't know what it was. I'm not here to analyze you. I spent a lot of time more in self-analysis. What it was that was the foundation to make you wired that way. You could have come from a very poor family and said never again. Or it could even be in something more noble. Like you came from a poor family and you said, I just want to be able to be the source of, I don't want my mom to ever struggle again. What do I have to do? Or it could be arrogance to say, I'm not going to be one of the poor people in this life. I know that life is not forever. We're aware of that. No, we know that we all have an expiration date, but while we're here, no way. No, I need everybody to know that I got it. And if I got 2 feet, it's going to be some bad Fendi boots on those feet. If I have this body is going to be in a mansion with marble countertops, dripped in mink and whatnot. What do I got to do? And the devil's like, okay, you can have these things, but like, I'm not the source of joy. Like, that's not my attribute. Like, I'm not the joyful noise type. You're like, I don't care. I'll take it. So you traded your happiness for material things, and you can't even be comfortable in the things that you have because that's not the devil's main attribute. So essentially, you put external validation and other people's opinions and other people's perspectives over your own sense of joy, comfort. I can't emphasize that point enough. So just from that, being the person that I am, somebody who's very free, because you see how I talk. I ain't thinking about what the result of what I'm saying is coming out of. Nah, I'm just going to speak the truth. Very free to dance how I want to dance, love who I want to love, live how I choose to live. That does not seem appealing to me in any way. I could be dripped in diamonds. And yes, like I told you, I love New York fashion and I love winter fashion. And I love, this is even looking it's got more body now. I love a fresh blowout. I love to be dressed to the nines. I like quality foods, good things, fine dining. I like nice things. I like nice things a lot. I don't worship nice things. I've found my highest bliss in the woods, in some raggedy jeans and a t-shirt, drumming. And I'm like, oh. Like there's not, I don't care about the shoes that I got on my feet. I don't care about how my hair looks. I don't care about what I got on. This is so much fun to me. Dancing barefoot on the beach. A fresh plum and mango. Just the vitamin D from the sun rays. It's like, what? Fresh blowout. Nah, I'm dipping in that ocean. This is joy. Nothing greater. So having experienced all of these things, having all these collections of experiences, I know what I choose. I know who I choose to serve. I know that I'm a knucklehead in certain categories and that I'm going to need God's favor all the time over my life, this anointing and blessing. I can't serve a being who's not merciful. Not with me. Careless me sometimes and the mistakes I make. I can't serve a being that's not merciful. Let me not swear again. I would be screwed in this game if I served a being who couldn't extend mercy to me. Whew, I would be done with all of the dumb shit I've done in my life. And then I also watch agents of the Shaytan and how obsessed they are with other people and how they hang on to certain people's every word and stalk people like weirdos. And I'm time out. If you're so fascinated, if you are the recruitment for the devil, why aren't you enjoying your life? Why are you over here fixated on me and what I gotta say and what I'm doing and whatnot? So that's not appealing. Because one of my main advocacies is do you mind your own business and live your life to the fullest. I am anti-Karen. I am anti-prying yourself into other people's lives and being nosy. That's so lame to me. So when I watch these lames, fixated on what other people do and listening to their conversations is all talking about everything else that everybody does. I'm that's so lame. That's so lame. How are you part of the devil's recruitment? That shit is so lame. And then I say, okay, why they gotta steal? Why didn't the devil give them talent and creativity and ideas and intellect and all these things? Why are there so many of them against one person? Look at the limitation of their power. Why are they always pissed? Why are they always happy and joyful and whatnot? Oh, because the devil's doesn't give. So how is that appealing to me? Not to say that I would ever consider riding for that team, but I'm just thinking if your main attribute is being clever and being intelligent, this was not an intelligent strategy. Trying to orchestrate and coerce somebody's misery. I guess they said, okay, well, if we close the doors, we get her fired from jobs and we do all these horrible things, then maybe she'll just be I'm too weak. I can't endure it. It's just too much for me. It's too much. Where did my friends go? My job. I can't. My money. My relationships, my reputation. I can't. What do I have to do? Where do I have to sign? I'll sign in blood. There. Nah, baby. That ain't me. Never that, never that, never that, never that. I come from God to God I return. Any situation, I'm gonna flip it to my advantage because I have that level of self-love. Like I love myself like that much. Like really, like I really love myself. I'm like, people are gone, cool. God's giving me this beautiful, magnificent time to spend with moi. What should I do today? Should I go get some fabric and try and make a skirt? Should I do a song and a dance? Should I write some music? Ooh, maybe I'll create a new recipe. Maybe it's a skin day. Endless creativity, endless ideas. Maybe I should just meditate. Maybe I should go for a hike and breathe in just like that fresh, free air. Yeah, free air. It's divine. Reputation, okay. Well, if people are dumb where they feel like, they can treat somebody poorly based off of what they heard, what value are they to me anyways? You're willing to attack somebody based off of something that can't even be substantiated? You're not that smart. Why do I want to keep you in my circle? Rumors about this or that. I'm like, look, if I met a man who was provocative or who was promiscuous or whatever, let's go get tested. Squash that. Why can't you outthink? Like why can't you outthink these things? And do I see you as an intellectual asset, somebody who's intellectually stimulating and on my level, or even better, someone that I can learn from? If you can't think beyond these things. So I'm looking at it like everybody did me a favor. And then like just watching people and their energy go down. Like I'm not joyful because I want for my sister what I want for myself. But like I see like how your self-esteem is so messed up and like how you care so much about like these men who like how desperate you are to be like attracted to men. And like when you're attractive, who are you attracting? Like people who are just going to lower your self-esteem and damage you more. So I'm like, okay, so the devil took all that away from me. Like I should be thanking you to some degree. Opportunities and doors that were closed that I wasn't even meant to be a part of, that I would have been an asset to them, that they would have let off of my intelligence, my idea, my swag, my personality, my magnetism, all of the things all the qualities that I possess because of my creator. And you took me out of those situations? Thank you. All the men that would have used me and abused me, you started rumors and tarnished my reputation so they don't even approach me? Thank you. Thank you. You ruined my reputation, so I spent a lot of time in solitude so I can become even better and get even more into me. Thank you. Thank you. When you are of the creator, all things work in your favor and all things work for your good. But again, if the devil's main attribute is being intelligent, I just don't get how this was an intelligent strategy. And I'm not here to help strategize with the enemy, but like that would have not been the plan that I would have thought of. I wouldn't have tried to be so mean to somebody to recruit them or whatever. I would have been nice to them. You get more with honey than vinegar. But again, the strategy was something that was not well planned and what was not well thought through because it wasn't meant to work because God would have never allowed it to work. God would have blocked the Shaytan every single time and said, not my child, not the chosen one, not the one that's here to praise me, not the one that I have a specific role carved out for. No. And so it's wonderful to be able to gain insight and ask the right questions. The same things that they're trying to impose on you. I think that she has too much pride. She's such a show off. I think that all of these, she needs to be humbled. She's gotten too comfortable. Well, what about you? What about, your ex-wife that you pay X amount of alimony to every month? Why hasn't she gotten too comfortable? Why is your kid okay to be provided for and her kid's not? Why is it double standards? Do you think of her as better than you? Is that the reason why you apply higher standards to her than you apply to yourself? You want to humble her, who's humbling you? The experiences that you're trying to coerce for her did you go through those things? Did you ever go through the things that she's been through? Ever? I come from a God of infinite abundance, infinite comfort. So you playing God, but not allowing people to have their free will. Not like you have the power to allow somebody or not to allow somebody, but you trying to play God and orchestrate someone's life and try and, manipulate certain lessons that you feel like they need to have, or the growing up that they need to do, or the maturity level that they should be at. Meanwhile, you're leeching off of them. They'd be a millionaire with all the shit that they put out and you take. What the fuck is that? How are you mimicking someone and trying to destroy someone at the same damn time? It's bizarre, but I'm a microcosm of Mother Nature. Because this is what the devil did with Mother Nature. Tried to mimic Mother Nature, recreate the rain through harp, recreate weather conditioning, recreate, even cloning animals, cloning people, artificial insemination, all these things, trying to play God, but destroying the planet and making it uninhabitable at the same damn time. It's very much a psychosis, but it's not something that is exclusive to me. Trying to mimic me and imitate me and steal from me, but at the same time destroy me. It's very bizarre. Very, very, very bizarre. But again, we are trying to analyze people who you would say this is not somebody in their right mind. And when you worship the devil, you are not in your right mind, because the devil loves nobody and the devil fucks everyone over. So the same psychosis that they're trying to give you, these are the lunatic psychos, maniacs. None of their moves make sense. Everything is nonsensical. Nothing is logical at all, because he loves nobody. So the same mental illness that they're trying to inflict on you is the same mental illness that they actually have. These people are very sick. They're very mentally sick. They are adverse with creation. They are inorganic because they are at variance. They are everything around them they seek to destroy. What is the devil here to do? Kill, steal, destroy. They want to kill things that represent life. Kill, literally kill. None of this should be sounding bizarre to you guys. You guys, these are ancient texts. The Bible's been around forever. Torah's been around forever. The Quran's been around forever. Nothing that I'm saying is anything innovative or new. These things are very spelled out as far as the devil's playbook. It's been around for a minute. Kill, steal, destroy. To kill you, literally, to take your life. If they can't destroy your reputation, if they can't destroy you, they either kill you or they want to put you on a path where you're killing yourself. How do you kill yourself? Through drugs, through alcohol, through all the poison that you put inside of your body. So if you are killing yourself, then they're fine with that. As long as your lifestyle is pro-death and not pro-life, they're cool with that. If not, they literally want to kill you. That's their assignment. Steal. Like I said, they steal from me all the time. They steal my talking points. They steal my intellectual property. They steal my choreography. They steal all this. They steal my music. They steal my swag. They steal. But this is part of the devil's playbook. Guys, come on now. This is not anything new or innovative. This is what they do. So are you going to be upset by something that they do that they've always done, and they steal, and then they steal and they don't even get bliss from the things that they steal. They just drive themselves more into their own misery because of karma, law of cause and effect. You're depriving a single mom of being able to provide, and you think that that shit's going to work out in your favor, where there's nothing good to come of this. How is you and you reflecting misery? How is that alluring to me? And the bondage and like the endless bond, like that's not enticing to me at all. At all. And so life is, because I've heard Infinite Water say, don't just talk about the things that you don't like. It's not a matter of putting down the things that you hate. It's also praising the things that you love. I think it's both. And much respect to him, much respect to Ralph Smart. I really love his perspective, and I love the positivity that he brings to the world. And I love his energy. He's awesome. But I think it is both. I think that life is about blocking and receiving. Life is about, acknowledging all of it, being critically minded, but balanced in your criticism. I'm over here praising God for all the magnificence that he brings to our lives. But I also got to take some jabs at the devil because I'm not feeling that shit. I'm not feeling it. And I'm not feeling all the things that he's been trying to steal from me. And I'm not feeling all the ways that he's tried to destroy me. And I'm not feeling the attack and the assassination of character. And I'm not feeling the fact that he's trying to take me out. I'm not feeling that. So it's both. You know what I'm saying? But because God's love is so abundant, it really makes the devil's tactics look very minimal. And being an agent of truth, it's only a matter of truth in time coming out. It's, I can't fear and worry because all I do every single time I hear a lie, I just say, truth. That's it. And the truth comes out. And I don't worry, I don't fear. Anyways, I do have some things I got to do today. And I hope that you guys have a chance to tune into some of these points that I made just to kind of have you reframe your mind about what you value, what you prioritize. And everything's going to be just fine, y'all. Peace.